Secretary Elaine Chao, thank you so much for joining us here on Newsmax TV.
Glad to be here.
Well, the Obama administration tells us that unemployment is at 8.5%. Given that many Americans have given up looking for a job, is real unemployment much higher, and if so, how high?
It is. The real unemployment rate is much higher. There are discouraged workers who have left the workforce, people who want a full-time job who can't find it. So if you count all those people in, the real unemployment rate is nearly 16%.
Now, the president in his State of the Union stated that he wants the wealthy to pay more in taxes. If his proposed Buffett rule were to become law, what is the impact on the U.S. economy and unemployment?
I think it's really unfortunate that amidst all of our economic woes, that the president doesn't tackle the real reasons why there are no job creation and instead focuses more on class divisions and class warfare. The problem with this economy is that we're not creating jobs. And we're not creating jobs because employers don't have the confidence that this administration will understand what it takes to create jobs. Taxes are too high, there are too many regulations, and we're spending beyond our means. And that's putting a dampening effect on job creation.
Now, what would a second Obama term mean for unemployment, and when do you see unemployment rates returning to pre-recession levels?
Well, from 2001 to 2009, when I was Secretary of Labor, from 2001 to 2009, the average unemployment rate was 5.2%. This administration is trying to get us accustomed to this new norm of unemployment of well over 8%. And I think that's so sad. 44% of the 14 million Americans who've been out of work are now characterized as long-term unemployed. What we need is not more rhetoric that divides us. We need this administration to act in the best interest of this country and create more jobs by lessening all this talk about taxes, decreasing regulations, and having some kind of fiscal discipline.
Now, some have compared the current unemployment situation to that of the Great Depression. Is that a fair comparison?
The Great Depression saw unemployment rates well in excess of 25%. While we are not there yet, I think the trend that we are currently following is very dangerous. This administration believes that Europe is the model that America should follow. Well, we see that there's pretty much no job creation in Europe, and we used to make fun of Europe because their unemployment rate was well in excess of 8%. Well, here we are today. So I think that Europe is not the model. We are now in a globalized economy, and we've got to learn how to compete, and we have to protect our own people.
When do you see things improving for the U.S.?
I think elections have consequences. And this administration obviously believes that a socialist model is the best economic model for our country. And a great many Americans disagree, as we saw in the November 2010 elections. So we'll have another chance as a people to come and express ourselves and give voice to our concerns in November of this year.
Now, how much validity do you give to the president's argument that without government intervention, unemployment would have been worse? Does the government need to play a role in creating jobs when the private sector cannot?
I think that shows a basic misunderstanding about our economy and our country. The government does not create jobs. It is through the hard work, the hope, and the confidence of employers in the private sector that the majority of new jobs being created.
Are new regulations like Dodd-Frank hindrances to recovery like many claim? Do we need more regulations or just better enforcement of existing ones?
We have so many rules and regulations. We have so many laws, many of which conflict with one another, and they're highly confusing. We don't need more laws or regulations. We need to enforce those that are on the books, that which we have. And I think that, again, to spark job creation, we've got to get rid of all this regulatory burden on employers. Regulations are a form of tax on the employer.
Some employers are saying they want to hire but can't find enough candidates with the right skill. How do we solve this problem? Does the government play a role, and do companies need to develop more job training initiatives?
We're now in an information knowledge economy in which workers have to have higher skills. The government does have a government training program, and we spend billions of dollars on it. But the problem is sometimes these training programs are not training workers for the right skills, the relevant skills. So these workers who are unemployed enter into these government job programs. They're not taught the right skills, and they can't get a job when they graduate. So there must be an effective public-private partnership in which the government goes to the private sector and asks the employers, what kind of skills do you want? What are the jobs being created? So there must be a public-private partnership in which the government is reaching out to the employer community and making sure that the government training programs are training unemployed workers with the right skills to be able to access real jobs in the economy.
Secretary Chao, last question for you. Unemployment rates are particularly high among young Americans. Do you fear that too many young Americans have been without work for too long, that we are going to see a lost generation of sorts?
I hope not, and I'm optimistic. But you're absolutely right. The unemployment rate within young Americans is 24%. That is highly disturbing, which is why, again, we've got to create more jobs so that these young people can get the first jobs of their lives and get on a career path that will get them on, to good earning jobs, good work skills. We need to have strong job creation, which is not occurring right now.
Secretary Elaine Chao, thank you so much for joining us on Newsmax TV.
Thank you.